presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
They say all good things must come to an end, and sadly, Atlanta's 9-game homestand will wrap up this afternoon on a beautiful afternoon at SunTrust Park. Braves have a chance to win a home series against the Colorado Rockies. We wrap up things here in just a few minutes. Hi again, friends, with Jeff Francoeur and Joe Simpson. Chip Carey welcoming you back to the ballpark, where the Braves made a 9th-inning rally last night that fell 1 run shy. So far, the Braves and Rockies have split the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Out of the excitement last night, the dynamic duo, Jeff, at the bottom of the order, Ozzie Albies and Dansby Swanson. The kid Albies has done everything you could hope for at second base since coming up.
He's been awesome. He's been kind of the lift that this team's needed. And, you know, I think one of the most impressive things for me is you watch him here. Obviously, I mean, he's, you know, been hitting great, 412, all that, but he's got out of his 22 hits this year, Joe, 11 have been for extra base hits. And I think that's some things that people did not realize about this kid, is that as good as a hitter he is, he's got some pop in the bat, and that's going to be huge coming in the future.
Well, Ozzie's been terrific over his last 9, and Joe Simpson, Dansby Swanson looks like a different guy since he was brought back up from AAA Gwinnett for the Braves.
The difference for me is that he's stinging the ball. Jeff talked about that last night. He's driving the ball better than he was before he went to Gwinnett. He's looser. He's smiling again. He's obviously having more fun. He's hit in 11 of his last 14 games, and over his last 12, he's hitting 400, and he's doing it with some extra base pop too. You see the doubles and triples there. That's what I'm enjoying seeing from Dansby and the improvement he made since coming back.
So the 7th hitter, the 8th hitter doing great for Atlanta. Hopefully the 9th hitter, Mike Foltynewicz, will do great on the mound. Mike needs to turn things around in the series finale. He's facing the Rockies and John Gray in Game 3 on a perfect afternoon for baseball in Atlanta.
On Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Nice crowd filing in. The Braves will go over the 2 million mark in attendance in their inaugural season at SunTrust Park today. They need about 500 fans to accomplish that. Pretty sure we've made that milestone already as Mike Foltynewicz toes the slab for the Braves. And Joe, Mike needs to turn things around pretty quickly for Atlanta.
His pre-All-Star break numbers excellent. 7-5, 377 ERA. The post-All-Star break, as we know, has not been kind to him, especially the last 3 starts. 11 2/3 innings, 25 hits, and 20 runs, and only 9 strikeouts over that stretch. That's usually just 1 game for Mike. So today, his 4 keys to pitching success. Maybe Brian Jordan is right. I agree with him. He's entering an area where he has not pitched as many innings as he has this year. So the extra day of rest, thanks to the off day on Thursday, might help Mike a lot today. And stay focused. You give up a run, you give up a couple of hits, or you get a bad call behind the plate. Stay focused, stay on track.
Because if you don't, this Colorado lineup will put a big-time hurting on you. And it starts with Charlie Blackmon, a 31-homer man, out of the leadoff spot. And Blackmon hit the first of 2 ninth-inning blasts last night that provided the margin of victory for Colorado. 78 delightful degrees under partly cloudy skies in Atlanta. And quickly Blackmon behind 0-2. Blackmon has 7 hits against the Braves this year, 2 homers. He's knocked in 5 runs against Atlanta pitching. And he takes a little high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I like when a pitcher comes out and is just throwing gas. Here you go.
Blackmon lucky to foul that off and stays alive.
And he's got it. I was talking to John Smoltz about Mike Foltynewicz earlier this week, and he was talking about how he's got such a good fastball that it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit in reserve when you need it 0-2. If you want to throw 95, 96, and then save 98 for then, do it.
Line drive on a 1-2 pitch. That almost picked off John Tumpane, the second base umpire. And Charlie Blackmon has a 2-strike hit. Joe, something that plagued Mike the last time he saw the Rockies at Coors Field.
Yeah, it was there were a ton of 2-strike hits against Mike. Like the first breaking ball he threw him and left it out over the middle of the plate. That line at Colorado, 3 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 8 runs. But of the hits, 7 of them came when he had a 2-strike count on the hitter.
So DJ LeMahieu coming off a multi-homer game last night. LeMahieu hit a 5th inning shot and a 9th inning shot off Arodys Vizcaíno. LeMahieu had 4 homers all season. He had 2 in game 2 yesterday. Batting .315 on the year. Pitch to him is a little outside. Ball 1, strike 1 for the Colorado second baseman.
You know, Joe, you said something I think that was pretty evident when you talk about saving some, having some in reserve, you know, for 0-2 counts late in the game. You watch guys like Scherzer, Verlander, when I was with Kansas City facing them those years, they'd sit early in the game, 91, 94, and have that each inning to be able to bump up.
And using the lower velocity to be able to work both sides of the plate and have a little better command.
I mean, you kind of look at a guy like Steven Strasburg. That's kind of taken him to the next level. When you watch him, he doesn't just come out throwing 97, 99 anymore.
2 balls and a strike for LeMahieu. Lights are on at SunTrust Park to start the game. The pitch is over the inside corner, and LeMahieu jackknifed out of the way.
Mike has everything he needs. He's got a great physical presence. He's big and strong. He throws hard. He's got a good curveball. He has all the tools. He has had a real bad patch here the last 3 starts that you hope hasn't affected him confidence-wise, where he feels like he's having to pitch under the microscope so much that he can't be himself.
Yeah.
And he just needs a little bit of success, needs a good outing to get back on it.
Blackmon's running, and LeMahieu had that fastball covered and fouled it back. Well, Mike said as much after his last start. It's hard going out there start after start and you get hit. You get hit hard and not have your confidence shaken to a certain degree. And it's understandable. Last 22 innings, Mike's given up 26 earned runs and has lost 4 of those 5 decisions. Again, the 3-2 pitch. It's lined to first, and Freeman will step on the bag, and there's a gift double play. That'll help. LeMahieu hit it right to Freddie Freeman, who was standing at the first base bag. 2 outs.
Well, it seems to me Freddie Freeman hit into one of those last night in the first inning. So they're even.
That could be big for Fulte right there. You kind of get away with the break early like that. You've had two hard hit balls and you get 2 outs. You know, maybe feel like, okay, this might be my day.
Yeah.
There's the Rockies Toyota starting lineup. Carr goes back in there, and Wolters is behind the plate for Jonathan Lucroy. Day game after the night game. Tony Wolters will work with John Gray, the Rockies starter, who awaits his first inning after Nolan Arenado. And he takes one downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hard to argue with your comments, fellas, about this guy being the leader for the MVP honors in the National League.
Well, I think we both know that a lot of MVP voters just look at offensive numbers.
Exactly.
And from a player standpoint, you're looking at the whole package, and this guy's it.
You got to watch him play every day.
Pop this one up. And at shortstop, Dansby Swanson is under, and he has it. And that retires the side. A leadoff hit, a double play, and a pop-up. And the Rockies are done in the top of a scoreless first. We're lucky here. Look who's leading the first chop of the day.
Who's that bald guy?
War Eagle Tim Hudson.
Always great to see Tim at the ball yard. Hopefully he'll come up and say hello. As you look at the Braves starting lineup presented by Toyota, Kurt Suzuki gets the start. Matt Adams gets a start for Matt Kemp. Day game after the night game, and after Adams hit that long home run here last night. Told you about Albies and Swanson. They'll have their hands full because John Gray is a 5-game winner for the Rockies. He ought to be fresh after missing a lot of time with a foot problem earlier this year.
This guy's really good. Number 3 pick in the draft in 2013. 6'4", 230 out of Chandler, Oklahoma. First time through the order, outstanding. Second and third, not so much. We'll see if the Braves can capitalize on that.
And Joe, like so many guys we're starting to see, he has that modified stretch windup.
Yeah, Jeff mentioned Strasburg. It's very comparable to what Strasburg's doing.
Line foul by INCIARTE, who's quickly behind 0-2.
But like Foltynewicz, he throws hard, upper 90s, slider and a curve.
And he has been tough against the Braves in his young career. And he's tough on INCIARTE, who chased one up and out of the strike zone. And Gray has his first strikeout on the day. Gray's pitched 20 career innings against the Braves, 22 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. That's a 1.35 lifetime ERA.
Last start was against the Royals in Kansas City. Pitched into the 7th inning and only gave up 2 earned runs, 1 walk, struck out 6 and got beat 3-2.
Yeah, part of that stretch for the Rockies where they've had so much trouble winning games away from Coors Field.
I think I helped contribute to his strikeout case against the Braves last year.
Did you?
Yeah, a couple times.
Here's Brandon Phillips riding an 11-game hitting streak. And popped out a play foul. So you faced John Gray. What's the biggest challenge for a right-hand hitter facing this guy?
It's the same thing when you face Fulte. He's got dominating stuff. I mean, he throws 98, can get it up to 100. He's got a great slider. It comes down to the same thing Joe was talking about. To me, for both these guys, it's location. It's being able to, you know, like for instance, right there, that pitch, you know, he's trying to go up and in, and you leave it right down the middle of the plate. And he got away with it there, but, you know, with a lot of these hitters, you're not going to be able to.
We always return to a comment that Bobby Cox said years ago, and that is major league hitters can time a jet. Doesn't matter how hard you throw, you just better locate it.
No balls, 2 strikes for Phillips, and that just missed. Wolters wanted it down and away. Gray got it there, but it was off the plate.
I remember watching the Boston game, Yankees, a couple weeks ago. I remember in that young kid, however you say his name, DeVries, you know, for Boston. Deverson. He hit a 103-mile-per-hour fastball dead center in Yankee Stadium. Like you said, if they time it up.
Yeah.
Brandon Phillips, 3 for 9 in the series. He's knocked in a couple of runs. He looks now at a 2-2 count. And Gray missed again.
Brandon's had a great homestand. He's at 368 on the homestand with a homer. There's that 11-game hitting streak working.
I was hoping to see 2,000, but I'm guessing y'all are going to get to see it in Philly.
Big day might be coming. You never know.
He tipped that one into Wolters' glove, and Gray rallies and takes care of Phillips. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts, and that brings up Freddie Freeman.
When Gray pitched against the Braves in Coors Field, he got a jillion runs to work with. He only had to work 6 innings and gave up 2 runs and got 17 runs of support. 17-2 the final.
Tough to lose with 17.
Typically, yeah.
Here's Freddie Freeman. He is 0 for 6 in the series. And fouled back. Mark Bowman, who covers the Braves for MLB.com, had an interesting note. Freddie Freeman is 1 for his last 28 against the Rockies here in Atlanta with 12 strikeouts. 1 for 28.
That's certainly not Freddie-like.
Or as Merv Retman used to say, maybe you're hot and you just don't know it.
Well, so.
Or he only said that to guys like myself.
I was just thinking that was the story of my career.
So that is no small feat to hold a hitter of Freeman's caliber to 1 for 28. One ball, 2 strikes. And up and away.
You know, Joe was talking about Smoltz. You know, he was talking to me about guys like Fulte, guys like, you know, John Gray right now, saying, you know, he'd love to work with them. Just work on location.
The 2-2 is upstairs. Another deep count. Nick Markakis waiting on deck.
John's a great resource for guys like that. Same type pitcher.
And fouled back. Well, I don't know if it's the newest trend in the game or if it's the continuation of a trend in the game, but it seems to me, guys, that the art of pitching has taken a definite backseat to the
art of velocity,
art of throwing as hard as you possibly can with every pitch. And Freeman takes a walk. I mean, you guys have stood in there against major league pitchers. I certainly haven't. But you see so many guys lighting up the radar guns, and you see so many deep counts, and you're seeing the walk, the strikeout, and the home run be the three outcome style of game we're seeing. I think in the long run, it's really hurting the game.
Well, and you're seeing 5 and dive. You're seeing pitchers throw 5 innings. The bullpen. That's, you know, people talk about the game taking a while sometimes.
No one ever used to carry 8 guys in their bullpen.
No.
And now you see at least half the teams when they leave camp with 8 guys in their bullpen.
Nick Markakis bats. Freeman at first, 2 outs. Gentle breeze blowing left to right, by the way. Let's see if Nick can take advantage of that.
I remember Smoltz told me one time, he said in the first, second inning, if you look up in the scoreboard when you're playing behind me and you see 95, I'm not in a good spot right now.
Well, that's half the pitchers at least that are throwing that hard. That's the first thing they do when they get the ball back from the catchers. Look up to see how hard did I throw it. Not where did I throw it.
0-1 the count. Freeman measured off a half step further on first base, and that forced Gray to step off.
And when you're a player in the dugout over there and you see that, you kind of got a good feeling. You think this guy, all he cares about is how hard he can throw.
That's a good point.
0-1 pitch. And sprayed out a play foul. Yeah, in a way, it's kind of frustrating, even as a casual fan and a non-athlete like me.
Give yourself a little more credit.
But I mean, I think
you're a big guy.
You're an athlete.
Very big feet. But we've gotten away from looking at the results instead of focusing on how the results are achieved.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Just throw it as hard as you can and okay, disappear after 5 innings. I don't get that. I wonder if Tom Glavine or Greg Maddux would even have been drafted in today's professional baseball environment.
Maddux wasn't drafted till the 2nd round because he was small.
Right.
Didn't throw all that hard. The first place we want to go is compare it to those guys, and that's not fair because they were such command perfectionists, Maddux and Glavine.
Let's use somebody in more recent memory. Chris Medlin. Chris Medlin didn't light up the radar gun.
Putty.
He sure knew how to pitch.
Tim.
Runner goes and fouled at first.
Now Tim's a more modern example of holding a little back in case you need it.
Yeah.
Sinker, slider, split, good changeup, and then all of a sudden there's 93 or 94 if he needed it.
I remember 05 playoffs versus Astros. Remember Huddy pitched game 1. Got hit around a little bit, and he came back on 3 days rest in game 4 and absolutely dealt for 7 innings. And he said after my arm was tired, and that's why he did so well. His ball was moving all over the place.
0-2 pitch, and Wolters' throw right on the money. A gorgeous throw, and that nails Freddie Freeman.
What a catch and release there by Mr. Wolters,
yeah,
like a middle infielder.
Their catchers don't hit many home runs, but Wolters can really throw, and the Braves are out of luck in a scoreless first. We head to the second inning. No score between the Braves and the Colorado Rockies. Interesting first inning for Mike Foltynewicz, who got a line drive double play to help his cause. John Gray struck out the first 2 hitters and got a caught stealing to send this game to inning number 2. Gerardo Parra, Mark Reynolds, and Carlos Gonzalez are coming up for Bud Black's ball club. Parra 3 for 8 in the series, 346 overall for the year. Scored twice last night. And off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes.
I'll have to be honest, guys, my favorite guy up here in the booth, Drew over here, our statistician, just told me that I got 3 strikeouts for Gray.
Oh, congratulations.
He gave me the hat trick. So I wanted to get that out of the way so we could move on. Thanks, Drew.
No, you just forgot one of them.
Well, forevermore, we will start to call that the Francoeur instead of the hat trick.
There are a few of those.
Sharply hitting into right field by Parra on a 2-0 count. And Foltynewicz walks back to the top of the mound, looks skyward a bit. And he's back to the stretch after back-to-back leadoff hits in as many innings.
All good teams have those guys in their lineup where they're kind of the hidden gems, you know, the guys that you unfortunately ignore and then they burn you. Well, that's kind of what Parra is to me in their lineup, and yet he's hitting cleanup and hitting 346. It's not like he's really hidden.
Right.
But man, is he a tough out.
And then you think of all the runs he saves because he's such an excellent outfielder. What a valuable place to play, and what a valuable player for Colorado.
He's like a Ben Zobrist for the Cubs.
Yeah.
You see him batting 3rd or 4th, and he's not going to scare you like Rizzo or Bryant, but you're like, man, this guy just will knock it off the base pass.
And wears out left-handed pitching too.
Yeah.
Reynolds fouled 1 straight back. He's quickly behind 0-2.
He's a sheriff for 1 more day.
That's it. Single, a double, and a homer for Reynolds in the series, and that ball is hammered, tailing away from Ender. Long run, what a catch! How in the world did he get there? One of the best catches of the year for Ender INCIARTE to Rob Reynolds.
I'll tell you what, Joe, we had the best view from up here,
yes,
watching that ball and watching him run under. That is amazing. There's only a couple outfielders that can do that in the game.
Full gallop, wind pushing it away from him a little bit. There's your Gold Glover.
That's where when you play next to him, you're just like, hey, good job.
Yeah, thanks.
You got it.
Unbelievable. So another defensive help for Folty. Now Carr goes up there and takes a strike. Gonzalez came on as a 9th inning pinch hitter, singled, and then scored on Charlie Blackmon's homer. He's 1 for 4 so far in the series, 2 for his last 15 overall. And what a play by Suzuki. That ball was sailing up and away. And it's an even count.
So a couple of breaks have gone Folty's way already. The line drive to first, great catch by Ender. He ought to feel pretty good so far.
And Cargo helped him out, chased 1 up and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Braves do have a shift on for him. Brandon Phillips, the Lone Ranger, on the left side of the diamond, and now with 2 strikes, he'll back up and plug up the shortstop hole. Swanson, Albies, and Freeman on the right side. And the 1-2 is upstairs. Gonzalez didn't chase that one.
Gonzalez has had some injury issues, but 2 years ago he played 153 games and hit 40 homers and drove in 97. Last year he played in 150 games, drove in 25, drove in 100. So this year, with his numbers really down in terms of production, that's where they're trying to figure out what's going on with him, because he's been healthy. Jeff pointed out he turned down a contract offer earlier in the year. Well, maybe it's weighing on him now.
3-2. Lashed out of play. We'll do it again.
I feel like still, though, for him, just being in the lineup, you know, he's the type of guy that could carry a team easily for a month and through the playoffs.
Well, I guarantee you when the Braves had their team meeting, they didn't look at his numbers and go, well, he's 8-40. We don't have to worry about him.
Right. Well, if he doesn't come back to Colorado, and I don't know that that won't happen, he would be my pick at first blush to be the bargain signing in free agency after this season. I don't know what kind of a deal he'll get. You mentioned, Jeff suggested he may have to take a one-year deal someplace. Well, he's still young enough and good enough to be able to rebuild his value if it's indeed dropped at all. I take a flyer on him as he walks with one out.
I talked to him a little bit Friday, real quick. We've always just been cordial whenever we've seen each other, and he said the one thing that's frustrated him this year is he's had a tough time squaring up fastballs. And he says that's something that he's done a good job of in years past.
He's 31 years old. He'll be 32 in October. Really still in his prime. Limping a little bit after that foul ball off the foot.
Trevor Story's the Colorado shortstop. This guy has quickly turned into a Braves killer. 13 career games against Atlanta pitching. Story has 16 hits in 40 at bats. Fly ball, that's hammered toward the gap. Long run again, Ender. He's not going to get this one. He cuts it off in front of the warning track. One run is in. Ball dropped by Dansby, but no further advance. And Story drives home Gerardo Parra, and the Rockies have struck first.
There's your Braves killer again. To me, he's the guy, he's the type of player that he's leading their team in strikeouts, and he strikes out a lot. But they've got so much other high average guys, they can live with that. And he's such an outstanding shortstop defensively, they don't really care. And yet he still puts up good numbers with a low batting average.
First meeting of the day with Chuck Hernandez. The other thing you have to be very concerned about with Mike is, as you said, his focus, his emotions. He's a very emotional guy on the mound, which belies his demeanor when he's not between the white lines. And sometimes those emotions rear up, and Mike pitches himself into bigger problems.
You know, Mike will tell you that's what makes him so good, and also what can give him trouble. He knows it.
And Tony Wolters, the catcher, is in for Colorado. LaCroix and Wolters, their backstop tandem. Our first look at him in 2017. LaCroix caught all the games for the Rockies out in Denver.
We had a discussion about Mike when Tom Glavine was here last week for his last start. And Jeff, the gist of some of that conversation was this. Nobody cares what you did your last start. Nobody cares if you've been good for 3 or 4 starts. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you if you're having a bad outing. And the next opponent the next week is not going to care either. It's up to you to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, when you talk about it, this is the big leagues. You got to bear down and get the job done.
Well, he walked Cargo. There was kind of a disgust in that. And if it had any carryover, it was a mistake then to Story that hit a double.
Pitch count starting to climb, which is also a concern. He's approaching 40 pitches. We're in the second inning. Braves starters are averaging collectively 5 2/3 innings of work per start. It has put a lot of pressure on the relief corps. 2-2 pitch. is bang foul and out of play.
Is that for the year?
That's for the year. Wow. We saw that with Sean Newcomb last night. 94 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. It's tough to have 20 pitch innings.
This will be a big strikeout right here if we can get this.
And he got it. Good call, Jeff. There's the second out of the inning. First strikeout for Foltynewicz.
I think it's big for Fulte here. Get this guy, get back in there, regroup, take a deep breath, and realize you've only given up 1 run.
Exactly. It's not the end of the day.
No.
This guy can hit, though.
He's got a homer. He's also hitting a .120. And a good swing at that pitch.
Is that because he's from Oklahoma?
Yes. Pretty much. I just remember at Coors Field the other day, he was cutting it loose.
What's his nickname? The Gray Wolf?
Uh-huh.
That's heavy.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Kind of feel like you need a couple 20-win seasons before you kind of call yourself the Gray Wolf. Man, maybe I'm wrong.
He's got 15 total wins in the big leagues after 10-10 last year. And Mike, here we go. Full count to the pitcher. And Charlie Blackmon on deck. Strike 3 takes care of John Gray. Back-to-back strikeouts, and Mike limits the damage to a single run. Trevor Story with an RBI double, and the Braves are up in the second, down 1.
It's the final day of Players Weekend. We've showed you guys the really cool gear the players have customized. We've explained their nicknames. We showed you Freddie Freeman's cool bat yesterday, but we got our hand on Dat Dude's bat. This is Brandon Phillips' bat for this weekend. He has his nickname on it. On the other side, he has the logo for this weekend. A really cool thing for these guys to be able to put whatever they want on these bats. Nick Markakis leading off the inning. He has the camo bats. He says that's because he loves to hunt and he spends the entire offseason in the woods with his sons. Now, Jeff Francoeur, if you were playing in Players Weekend and you had to get a cool bat, what would you do?
I don't know. Maybe make it like a golf club or something.
Cool, like a driver.
Yeah.
How about you, Kelsey? What kind of bat would you have? What color would it be?
Chicken nugget color.
Uh-huh.
Be a little chicken winger.
I'd make it Braves colors.
Okay.
Be festive, whoever you're playing for. But that's what he did. He just did some of the cool colors, incorporated the baby blue in there. But I like that he put the logo for this weekend on it, because it is a really cool logo showing the, you know, the evolution from little league to the big leagues. That was what they designed this logo
Very
for.
nice.
So I think he did a cool job with it.
Very
that
nice.
dude.
Yeah, I think this has been a popular weekend. I think the guys have gotten into it. Different looking uniforms, reflecting the Little League, Youth League look. The colored sleeves and offset jersey tops.
You know, they showed the evolution of people getting bigger. What if you're like Jose Altuve?
Yeah.
Do they just keep the little ones all the way through?
Yeah, in some ways, Ozzy Albies reminds me of Altuve, but he's a little bigger.
He's a whole 2 inches.
And just as strong.
He is.
Nick Markakis was the batter when Freddie Freeman was thrown out trying to steal second, so he gets a second look at John Gray, and he's way ahead in the count. 3-0.
I like that attempt. I know he got gunned down, but Nick was behind in the count. You don't want to be behind the count against this guy. If Freddie steals, great. If he doesn't, Nick gets a fresh count.
He has a hitter, you say thank you. Speaking of Ozzy, that's what people ask me, what makes baseball such a great game. I said, because, you know, football, you wouldn't have that type of guy. Basketball, you can't have that type of guy. But baseball, you can.
Full count. One of Nick's 8 homers came against the Rockies this year. He's driven home 3 runs against them.
Well, that was a long blast, too, to deep right center over the into the Braves bullpen at Coors Field.
3-2 pitch is pulled toward first. Reynolds has it. Gray, the race to the bag, wins it. And he comes back from a 3-0 count to get Nick Markakis for out number 1. And here's Kurt Suzuki. And Kurt Suzuki is our Coors Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light.
I couldn't get over these numbers today when I was looking at them. 21 games, 11 homers, and 20 RBIs. And that is a guy that's not playing every day. To be able to jump in there every other day or every 2 days and do that is remarkable.
They know he can hit a fastball, so a wise choice by Gray to start him with a curve. And Kurt took it for strike 1. Suzuki has hit a home run in 3 consecutive starts. 15 homers, matches his career high that he set with the Oakland A's. The difference, of course, the number of at-bats between the 15 homer seasons for the Braves catcher. He had 570 at-bats in 2009 with those 15 long balls. Kurt Suzuki has 15 homers with the Braves this year. This is his 195th at-bat.
Amazing. He almost picked off Matt Adams over there in the on-deck circle, too.
Wake him up a little bit.
0-2. Bounces up there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kurt was asked would he like to come back to the Braves, and he didn't rule it out. Number 1, the Braves would have to offer him a contract. He is a free agent at the end of the year. They have a decision to make on Tyler Flowers. And Kurt Suzuki has some family considerations to think about. His kids are starting school out west. He has a home in Hawaii. So I'm sure the East Coast, West Coast thing is going to play for him as well, as he just broke his bat. And the other thing that I think is going to be a huge advantage for Kurt Suzuki, with the supposed lack of catching depth all throughout the major leagues, with a year like he's having, he's still spry enough, young enough to maybe be an everyday guy, and he might be able to cash in this big season with not just a 1-year contract, but a multi-year and very lucrative deal as well.
I think you're right, Chip.
After watching the catching market this past season, a couple guys getting multi-year deals with what he's done, I would be very shocked if he didn't get at least a 2-year deal somewhere.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And hopefully here, he's been such a good teammate for these guys and great clubhouse presence.
Gray ready now. The 2-2 pitch is lined over the Sheriff and into right field for a base hit.
How about that at bat?
That's the first Braves hit, and it brings up Matt Adams.
Target away, pitch away, and he hit it away. Don't see Kurt go the other way that much, but that was a beauty.
Here's Matt Adams.
Hearing Chip call Mark Reynolds Sheriff just does not get old for me.
Line drive to left. That ball's deep. That ball is caught on the track. What a grab by Parra. And now it's Adams' turn to look out in disbelief. A great catch robs him of an extra base hit.
You know what's impressed me, Joe, is just watching Matt up there. Is especially you go from playing every day to, you know, being on the bench, not getting as many starts. Just how comfortable he looks up there. You can tell it's such a difference from the guy we saw in St. Louis to the guy we're seeing now.
Well, he's another guy the Braves have a huge decision to make.
I have to be honest, guys. I can't imagine there's not a contending ball club that isn't trying to knock John Coppola's socks off to get him for their bench for the postseason.
But I'll tell you what, it's going to have to knock my socks off because I'm not giving this guy away.
No.
And when we saw him in St. Louis, I thought he was just kind of a dead red pull hitter. He's not. What a play by Parra.
That's in for a strike to Ozzie Albies. 0-1 the count. Problem for Matt is his best position is first base. That's problematic for him because I don't think Freddie Freeman's going anywhere.
Well, that's where you come. Selfishly, I'd love for him to stay here, but he's definitely deserved a shot to play somewhere.
Ground ball hit toward LeMahieu at second. He goes to a knee to make the play. And John Gray is out of the second inning with a 1-0 lead. Top of the Rockies order is coming up.
Bazooka from Nooka, they started the name for me. It's you know, I don't mind it. It's you know, it rhymes at least. You know, I've heard a couple other funny ones, but you know, it's, you know, I'll take what I can get.
He is the pride of Minooka, Illinois. Mike Foltynewicz. He's got a couple of strikeouts in today's game. He's down only a run. Had to throw a lot of pitches in the second inning. He's up to 45 of them after 2. Let's see how he fares with Blackman, LeMahieu, and ARENADO coming up.
It's a good nickname, but you got to like Blackman's nickname, Chuck Nasty.
There's no telling what's in that beard.
Exactly. I mean, he's got leftover sausage gravy.
Yeah.
What a player. He has to get recognition again. One of our top 5 MVP candidates in the National League this year. A leadoff man with 30 homer power. He's knocked in 82. And the other thing that you want your leadoff man to do is score a lot of runs. Charlie Blackman's done that. He's only scored 117.
Wow. A month ago.
Yep. So he add up his runs scored, runs knocked in. He's at 199. And he just took a 4-pitch walk.
That's what Chipper used to tell me every year. Somehow, some way or another, 200 runs accounted for. Whether you're knocking in 120, scoring 80, something. You do 200, you're helping your team win a lot of games.
It's an awesome year.
This is a critical stretch of this game, I think, for Mr. Foltynewicz. He walks Blackman in front of LeMahieu, who lined into a double play. Back in the opening inning. First career multi-hit game for LeMahieu came last night. He has 32 homers, 16 on the road, 16 at home as a major leaguer.
That was the second time LeMahieu squared around on the first pitch.
And with a runner at first. I mean, this is his bread and butter with that opening over there. Go to right field.
That's upstairs for LeMahieu. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beaten foul, 1-2. We'll keep you up to date on all the other scores around the big leagues today. The wild card race is certainly exciting. Marlins 2, San Diego 2. That game's in the 5th inning down in Miami. The Marlins 2 games over 500, 4.5 games back. For the second wild card, Milwaukee visits the Dodgers later on. Yu Darvish is coming back to pitch for LA later today.
Boy, Cleveland.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
They're rolling now.
Yep.
Kansas City hadn't scored yet the whole series.
It's 12-0 today, and they're in the 3rd inning.
Well, if Cleveland wins that game today and Boston loses, the Indians would all of a sudden have the top record in the American League and home field advantage through the American League portion of postseason play.
Now, Baltimore's picked up 3 games in 3 days on the Red Sox and winning again today.
And there are only 2 back in the wild card.
Cleveland keeps going at that pace today. You might see not just 1 but 2 position players pitching later.
Well, the American League wild card is an absolute delicious, delightful, beautiful mess. 6 teams are within 3 games of the second wild card, including Tampa Bay, and they're 3 games under 500. Tampa Bay's in St. Louis. The pitch, line drive, right field. Who would have thunk that? LeMahieu on a full count. Chases Blackman to second. 2 on, nobody out.
Now, why would he ever show bunt with a runner at first? This is where Folty's got to do some pitching. He's got to dig down, make some good pitches with arguably what Jeff and I picked today to be the MVP. ARENADO's not had a great series. Maybe you can get him to hit one on the ground.
At the top there, if you go back and look at that pitch, it wasn't a bad pitch. Running up and in on him, he just did a good job of pulling in his hands.
Well, that was one of the things that I think frustrated Mike against Seattle. He would make a pitch 4 or 5 inches off the plate outside to a left-handed hitter, and they'd hit a line drive to left field for a hit, and it was driving him crazy.
Well, they've come with 2 strikes again. 4 hits for the Rockies today, 3 with a 2-strike count. So he's getting ahead of a lot of these guys, but for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to finish them off. And now he's in a big mess. 2 on, nobody out, with ARENADO up there with 108 RBIs for the Rockies. So it's 1-2. Let's see what he can cook up. But just so many pitches. Already 60 for Mike.
Nice stop by Kurt.
Has he thrown many changeups in this game?
Can't answer that.
I don't remember seeing too
I was
many.
thinking about his slow curveball because I haven't seen that either.
ARENADO pokes one toward left, and Adams got there. ARENADO lines out to left. There's the first out. Now he's a ground ball away from getting out of a mess in the 3rd inning.
Good jump by Big City on that one.
Showing off those wheels.
So here's PARRA. He led off the 2nd with a single. Rockies have put the leadoff man in each of the first 3 innings so far. PARRA so far today the only man to score a run. Fouled away. Strike 1. And Suzuki out to talk to Mike about that. Might have just gotten away with a pitch.
He was so on it that maybe Kurt changed the signs.
What I wish would happen when PARRA does this hand up act, that either the catcher or the umpire would just high five him.
They've always said instead of the hand, just get in there earlier.
A lot of work to do, though. You got to adjust the gloves, both of them. Get a little more pine tar.
See, there's no need for the hand right now.
No balls, 2 strikes. Ah, tough break. It popped out of Suzuki's glove. They had him struck out.
Three fastballs, too.
Great pitch.
So a swing on the house for PARRA here. And the 0-2. Didn't get a corner.
Good try. That's a good spot to go. All these swings and foul tips. Tried to get him to expand his zone a little bit. He laid off.
There was a changeup.
That one tipped and caught, and there's a big second out.
Slider. A little downward action on it.
So here's the sheriff, Mark Reynolds. Will fly out to center. And that's way high, ball 1. hasn't been handcuffed much in this series. The Braves have only struck him out twice. It's always been the rap on Reynolds, if you will. A lot of power, but a lot of strikeouts. And he just took one over the corner. 2-1 the count.
One of the things about his swing that it just still amazes me is that it looks like he has that left arm extended as soon as he starts, and then it looks like a sweep through the zone, but I know it's not.
Well, as good as he is, they're about to get another really good player back as well. Ian Desmond is rehabbing in the minor leagues, coming back from a calf problem. He can play first, short, the outfield. Just what Colorado needs, more offense, and just what Mike needs, another base runner. He just walked Reynolds to load him up, and Carlos Gonzalez is coming up. He walked last time up.
He made a good pitch there. He thought he got the strikeout, similar to a fastball that was called a strike early in the count. But his reaction here, oh, that was a good pitch. You see him upset about it, and I don't blame him.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Went after him with a fastball at 98, and Gonzalez lucky to tip that. Strike 1. Oh, 2. This might be the biggest sequence of this game for Mike Foltynewicz, who's about to make his 30th pitch of this inning. He's down only 1 run. And he just struck out Carlos Gonzalez with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. He bent but didn't break. Encouraging work from Mike Foltynewicz, who just struck out Parra and Gonzalez to make it a 1-0 game after 2.5. That one.
Look how quick he is, though.
The best part was Chipper almost wet himself, and the tip of the cap. There's Tim Hudson.
Way to go. We got to find another clip. I see that all the time.
Yeah. Well, we could break out the Auburn one when you're in the outfield.
That's the go-to clip.
Yeah. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Good to see y'all. Golly, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
You look great.
Thanks. Polished turd.
Oh, well. That's just in keeping with the whole weekend.
Yes.
I mean, you said it. I didn't have to say it.
Let's keep it right, huh?
How are you? How's your arm after Kansas?
Arm's good, man. Arm's really good for, you know, a 42-year-old.
I never heard any results, though. Where'd you guys finish? Kansas Stars.
You know, I actually did. I didn't play this year. I had to back out. I didn't get to play, but actually the team won it. They won,
they did.
Won the
Yeah,
championship
but
this year.
I got all over. Rochi went 0 for 5 in the championship game.
Did he really?
Yeah, couldn't even get a knock.
Come on, man. Got to have some pitchers out there hitting.
Now, Andy LaRoche was the
MVP.
I think he was the MVP.
Yeah. They had a good showing this year.
John Gray versus Dansby Swanson leading off the Braves third. 1-0. Rockies have the lead, and that's a little low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hey, can we pick your brain? Like serious baseball stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been having a discussion, and Glavin was here last week, and we were talking about some of these things about velocity versus location these days. And your name came up today.
Okay.
About a guy who didn't throw 96 or 97, but located and had all control of all your pitches. What's happened to the game that we've gotten away from that?
Well, I think pitchers, you know, young pitchers nowadays, they're very concerned about their arm strength and their velocities from the time they're in high school to the time they get drafted and then all through the minor leagues. And you know, I think arm strength definitely is up nowadays from where it was when I first came up. And I think a lot of people believe that it's up to the point to where that they can get away with missing over the plate more, and you know, as long as they have that mid upper 90s fastball. But I still believe that, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, when you get to this level, it doesn't matter how hard you throw. You can shoot it out of a gun, and they're going to be able to turn it around on you. You got to be able to hit a spot once in a while.
And I told a story. We were talking about that, and I was saying in 05, I remember my first playoff game ever. You started game 1 here, and remember you got hit around a little bit, and you were throwing pretty darn hard.
Yeah.
And then you went on 3 days rest in Houston and absolutely dealt. And you might have hit 91 time.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I was a guy that I was always better when I was 89 to 91, 92. If I got up to 93, 94, usually my ball didn't sink as much. It was harder. It looked cool, a lot, you know, way cooler on the gun. But I was probably backing up third a lot that day. And, you know, and I probably didn't have near the control that I needed.
So how do you teach, you know, these young guys that that's important? You know, I mean, I guess that's my big thing is watching these guys just continue to throw hard and not get anywhere with it.
Especially those that can throw hard.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just think at a young age, you know, they dominate hitters so much with their fastball, they don't have to worry about commanding it until they get at the upper levels of pro ball. Even at the college level, I mean, there's, you know, the arms at the college level nowadays, I mean, they're mid to upper 90s, a lot of them. It's just, you know, the hitter's just not good enough to turn those around at that level. But when you get here, that's why you see a lot of power arms struggle when they get to the big leagues. Like, how in the world does this guy struggle throwing 97, 98 miles an hour when, you know, he's got that kind of stuff? But if you look at it, you know, majority of it, it's either ball 1, ball 2, you know, 2-1, 3-1, and then they have to, you know, come with something down the pipe at 98. And you do that to a guy like ARENADO or Cargo or, you know, some of the premier power hitters in the league. I mean, you're gonna pay. You know, you get a great hitter and a great hitter's count with 100 miles an hour, they're gonna hit it.
Does it frustrate you as someone who practiced your craft of pitching so very well? Does it frustrate you to see the state of the game at the major league level from that standpoint? I
mean, you know, I don't know that it frustrates me. I think that it's one of those. It's kind of sad a little bit. It's like, you know what, man? You know, I probably wouldn't even get drafted nowadays, you know, throwing 88 to 91 out of college. You know, I'd be a guy that they would maybe draft in the later rounds and see how it happens. But
I don't know. You drop bombs though. You might get drafted offensively.
I'd have been a center fielder, not a pitcher.
Can you stick around for another half inning?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to walk you through while Mike Fultonevich pitches in the 4th inning. He trails by a 1-0 score. Caney's our producer today, and she heard Tim Hudson's request to change the entrance video whenever Tim comes to the booth, so she decided to bring back another one of our old faves from the.
Look at those sideburns.
That's what I'm looking at, man.
Sideburns.
Don't you wish you had those now?
Was that glove attached to a hand, or was it just on your shoulder?
It was like, I don't know how it got there, but it was.
I know, but I'd love to see Tim with that bald head and just the sideburns now.
I actually had hair then, man. I had some good hair. I had some good flow in college. That's my wife. She knows.
First pitch popped up by Trevor Story. Suzuki trying to find it. He does near the on-deck circle and makes the play. One pitch, one out.
How much have you had a chance to watch Fulte pitch?
You know, I've gotten familiar with him over the years. Just you know, from watching him a lot last year and this year. I mean, he's got unbelievable stuff. I mean, he's got the kind of arm that, you know, should just go out there and manhandle lineups. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup, but it's, you know, just boils down to location with him. You know, just falling behind in the count and making good pitches and being able to, you know, if you do fall behind in the count, being able to have the confidence to make that, you know, to make a quality pitch down in the zone and not just throw one down Broadway. But I mean, his stuff is, I mean, it's some of the best stuff I've seen in a lot of years. There's no question about it.
First pitch to Tony Wolters, the Colorado catcher. He takes a strike.
But don't you think that that's kind of similar to a lot of the young, good arms? Is that when all else fails, throw harder, throw harder, throw harder instead of backing off a little?
Yeah, I just think that's the mentality that a lot of kids are, you know, growing up with that mentality of you know, more is better. And backing off, you know, throwing it, you know, 80-mile-an-hour fastball, you know, 80%, you know, and throwing 91, 92. It's almost like they can't stand to get beat with a fastball at 91 when they have 98 in the tank.
You made a good point, too, when you said, thinking about it, when you talk about guys in, you know, even AA, besides your 3, 4, 5 hitters, a lot of the time, if you're throwing 98, 99, you're going to blow those other guys away.
Blow them up.
And they haven't learned a pitch yet.
Yeah. You're going to blow them up.
John Gray with 2 outs and a strike. The other thing, the emotional side of the game for Mike. Was that something, Tim, that took you a while to get your hands around as a major league pitcher? Or is that something you had from the time you were drafted and got to the big leagues?
No, I mean, you know, I think with every pitcher, you know, you're gonna, especially a young guy, there's gonna be times when your emotions can start getting out of control for you out there on the mound. You know, it took me probably a couple of years when I was in Oakland to try to harness that and to not let my emotions get the best of me and just take a deep breath and take one pitch at a time. I think for the hitters, you know, a lot of pitchers, it's just it's different. You know, some pitchers never do it. They never are able to control their emotions out there. But some of them get it pretty quickly. It's just a learning process.
I think you forgot Tim went to Auburn, so it just wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't have to think.
A lot smarter baseball players at Auburn in most places. Yeah.
Full count to the pitcher, John Gray, and popped out of play. Well, this is college weekend. First of all, how the Tigers going to do this year in the SEC?
They got a big game in 2 weeks.
We do. We have a big game in Clemson to start. Well, we open up with Georgia Southern. Hopefully it won't be a trap, but you know, then we go to Clemson and. You know, I feel really good about our team. We have a quarterback that I think is going to get some of our talented wide receivers the ball. Everybody knows that we're going to be able to run the football. You know, I think now we've opened up that, you know, the passing attack. I think we're going to hopefully have a great year. We'll see when we get to Clemson. That's for sure. They'll have something for us.
Yes, we will.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Attaboy. How's Kim doing real quick?
Kim's doing great. She's just, you know, taking care of me. You know,
that's
a full-time job,
yes,
having me at home every day. But everybody's good, man. The kids are awesome. She started driving, so
oh, no.
That's scary.
Oh, boy.
That's not possible. That explains
I hope she drives
what hair you got.
Kim.
It's gray. Tim, great to see you, man.
Good to
All
see
the
y'all.
best.
You bet.
Good luck to the Tigers, man.
Thank you.
Great Tim Hudson with us here in Atlanta. Mike Foltynewicz, a nice 4th inning. He trails 1-0.
but it's too loud. There's one that's Coming to America theme, has everything that has to do with the movie Coming to America is all on there. It's pretty crazy. And then my other pair is called the Snacks. So I have ice cream. As one shoe is like all the ice creams that I love, and then the other shoe is all about the snacks that I have. I have Snickers, have Kit Kats, have everything that's on there. But the thing is, when Mama said, "Come on, B, I don't think you should rock those for players," I was just like, "Okay, Mom." But there's gonna be a day that Mama come to my game on Sunday. I'm gonna rock them with my pants legs up. So I'm gonna listen to your Mama this time.
So we don't get to see Brandon Phillips' cleats this weekend, but he also told us they're so loud. And if Brandon Phillips thinks the cleats are loud, he said that they are loud. But we're holding him to his word, guys. He said he's going to whip them out one Sunday. Hopefully we'll be able to see him, because if he explained those, how they look, they'll be pretty interesting. He got creative with those for sure.
Well, we can't wait to see that, Kelsey. He's already whipped out the gloves. He's got the standard bat today, it looks like. Kelsey showed you Brandon's bat earlier in the broadcast. Let's see if this is the magic wand to get the game even as the Braves
he's gonna have to be careful not to run that rosin up too high on it. Have another George Brett episode here.
lined over short. He did use the magic wand.
Good start to the inning.
Strokes a single to start the fourth. That's the second Braves hit. And here's Freddie.
Number 1,996. Slider.
I'll tell you what, before I decided to hang up the cleats this year, I hit some with Brandon during the offseason. And
did you?
I did. And, you know, I think everybody always takes him as this happy-go-lucky dude, which he is, you know, joking around, having fun. But I think he really kind of took it personal this year to come out and have a good year, especially with what happened in Cincinnati and kind of, you know, almost just giving him away.
Right. Well, he has had.
He's had a great year.
12-game hitting streak. And he represents the tying run in a 1-0 Colorado game here in the fourth.
I'm going to have a lot of admiration for Brandon for his 2000th hit, but he could not earn any more respect than for what he did by moving over to third base and doing what he's doing over there.
After, what, 14 years of playing second.
Yeah.
And Gold Glove second base. And he's carried that Gold Glove, it seems, over to the hot corner. I don't believe Brandon's made an error over there yet.
No.
And I'll tell you one thing that's cool that I know a lot of people probably don't know, but I was talking to Ozzie about it the other day, and he said he has asked Brandon numerous questions, and he has just been great with them. It's always good to hear.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Shift on for Freeman.
That's a balk to me. I want a balk there. That was not a step. That was just a jump and throw.
Caught a corner, pretty pitch. Freeman not too sure. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Here's that move to first base. Watch his feet. All he did was pivot on that foot.
He almost twitched before he pivoted too.
Well, if you can do that and get away with it, that's a great balk move for a right-hander.
I don't think Freddie was real happy with that last call either.
Same thing. If you get a borderline call made on you against a tough pitcher like this and it's strike 1, that's one thing. But when it puts you in the hole 1 and 2, that's a big deal.
And you know he's got 2 or 3 good pitches.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Freddie chased that, didn't get it. He's retired swinging. That's 5 strikeouts for John Gray, and the first out of the inning.
Back foot slider. He struck out 6 in 6 innings against Atlanta at Coors Field.
Well, he's been tough. 23 1/3 career innings against the Braves. He's given up 18 hits. And now 27 strikeouts. Here's Markakis. He bounced out to first with the pitcher covering. Mentioned Gray, the 3rd overall pick out of Oklahoma in the 2013 draft. Mark Appel went first. Chris Bryant went second. One ball, no strikes. Downstairs, the Braves' first round pick was Jason Hirsch, who went 31st. Travis Demerit went 30th. He was with Texas. The Braves have him now. And the 32nd overall pick was Aaron Judge. He went to the Yankees out of Fresno State. That's off the plate, ball 2.
If he's able to throw that fastball to that spot and make it tail away from a left-hander, you know, almost like a 2-seamer at 96, and then a back foot slider, it's tough to cover both.
I can see Freddie in the dugout right now. You call that a strike on me?
Yeah.
Out the corner, 2-2. Now it's Nick's turn to grumble a bit.
Yeah, see, that ball's off the plate for me.
And it's moving, and it's moving off the plate. It's running, tailing away.
And that's what you talk about there. All of a sudden you're in a 3-1 count, and now you're 2-2.
Real close at first. Nick goes down swinging, and 6 strikeouts for Gray. 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 here in the fourth.
All swinging.
That's just 97 dotted.
4-seamer there. Gray's the kind of guy that when you pick third and you take a college pitcher, you're hoping he's the kind of guy that can get to the big leagues quickly, and he has, and be this kind of guy. You're counting on it.
And pretty remarkable what Colorado's been able to accomplish this year, with Chad Bettis missing most of the season coming off of cancer surgery. John Gray, who was on the disabled list from April 14th until June 30th after he had a stress fracture in his foot. So that's 2 veteran fresh arms that will really help Colorado down the stretch for this rookie laden Colorado pitching staff. Ow, up and in, got Kurt Suzuki. Braves catchers continue to be moving targets in the batter's box. Tyler Flowers has been hit 17 times. Kurt Suzuki now has been plunked 9 times.
It's got his hand, though. A little ricochet maybe off the forearm, but it got his hand. he's been plunked in that meaty part of his forearm with pitches or foul balls all year long. That's got to be a real tender spot.
Gray checked on him.
I can promise you this is the last guy Gray wanted to see right now.
Yeah, man, Adams with that deep fly ball to left that Parra tracked down in the corner right in front of the Rockies bullpen. It was slicing away from him. Phillips the tying run at second. The pitch.
You were talking about Gray and Bettis, you know, being out for a while, being fresh now, but I think you can look at it another way too for them, is that they were able to get some other guys some experience, still have a 3.5, 4 game lead in the wild card, knowing that if you do need these guys, they're battle tested.
You know, they've done a good job of massaging that with those 2 guys out. And 2 or 3 rookies that got opportunities have really stepped up.
Wolters a nice stop. 2 balls, no strikes.
I'm sure you can go ask any GM what's the #1 thing they'd want. Plethora starting pitching. Give me 7, 8 guys.
An interesting defensive setup. They've got a shift on for him. They got LeMahieu playing in shallow right field. Story is on the first base side of second, but the outfield, look at the outfielders. Look at Blackman. He's on the left center side of second base, shading him that way.
I wonder if that pitch nearly crossed up his defense. If you're going to play him as an opposite field hitter, the last place you'd want to pitch Matt Adams in this park would be the inner half, I would think. He might have just gotten away with one. 2 balls and a strike.
I think that shows you a little bit, though, how Matt's probably matured as a hitter and become a better hitter overall, because that's kind of a good sign when you see that.
Downstairs, 3 balls and a strike.
Tony Wolters did a veteran catcher type move there right before the pitch. Watch him. He'll reach over and slap his glove, hoping Adams hears that, thinking maybe he's setting up inside when he's really going outside. Catchers can be kind of crafty that way.
Full count now. Phillips at second. Suzuki at first will be off to the races with 2 outs.
How about a little gapper right here?
Gray's ready. Here comes the payoff pitch for Matt Adams. Runners go. Line drive hit toward right, but Cargo's going to track it down, and that retires the side. The Braves strand a pair of runners in the 4th. We go to the 5th. Rockies still lead by 1. MLBshop.com with limited edition Braves jerseys and tees featuring player-picked nicknames. Wear the gear the players are wearing on field this weekend. Available while supplies last at MLBshop.com. I'm hoping they don't run out of socks before I can get to the computer after the game. Those are good looking.
I don't know if there's a limit on how many you can order, but you can have mine.
Okay, thank you.
I already got you a pair. Josh is holding one for you.
And a baby, thanks. Might sport him on the airplane ride to Philly. Popped up left side. Can anybody get there? Kurt Suzuki did after running over the donut that was right near the on-deck circle. That could have been hazardous.
What else do they have down there in that on-deck circle?
Everything.
God, looks like they got a ball bag down there. What is that?
Pine tar, rosin.
Yeah, but to have a bag sitting there.
Usually you keep it in the bag and you bring it. The bat boy brings it out there every half inning and dumps it.
Yeah.
So obviously we got to get on John Holland because a visiting bat boy for us is not doing his job.
Maybe there's cool drinks in there. It's kind of a warm afternoon. Get thirsty, swinging the bat.
That thing off the field.
I'm saying, as a hitter, Joe, I'm sure you can tell there's nothing worse than popping out to the catcher.
It's the worst thing ever.
You feel like a wasted at bat.
Yeah.
I'd rather get my doors blown off 3 straight heaters.
Yeah, just swing from your tail and fall down swinging instead of doing that.
What do you guys have against catchers? They get to play too.
No, it's just you pop one out and you think it's out, and all of a sudden the wind starts to bring it back, and you're like, oh.
And you're doing a back bend, looking at it, trying to get it out of play.
LeMahieu hits it to the right side again, but this one's into the stands. Our fan from Helen, Georgia, makes the play. Great catch. And the count 2-1 for DJ LeMahieu.
That, and when you have a 3-0 count and they come back to get you. Not that I ever had that many 3-0 counts.
No, but I almost preferred not to be 3-0.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had my share of those and walked on 4 straight type things, but 3-0 and then to have to kind of stand there and wait for a pitch, and it's like you're letting him back into the at bat somehow.
Yeah, that's always kind of mesmerized me. If you're ahead 3-0, turn you loose, swing the bat. The old get over strike, make him throw a strike thing. Swing the bat. Ground ball. That's handled by Albies. He's got LeMahieu's number. 2 outs. All of a sudden, Mike is pitching much more effectively. After the first 2 Rockies reached in the 3rd inning, line out, strikeout, walk, strikeout. Pop out, 2 strikeouts, pop out, ground out. This is the Mike Foltynewicz that ran off 9 wins and 10 decisions in what's been a roller coaster year for him.
Sure is. This is the guy that we grew accustomed to in June and July.
You know, I'm sure Folty's not happy right now with 96 pitches through 4 2/3, but you know, the fact of the matter is he has battled through it today, and he's kept us at a 1-0 game.
Fly ball well hit left. Adams going back to the track, to the wall, reaches up. Did he catch it? Yes, he did.
And it's 1-0 still, thank God.
Look at Folty.
Arenado was in his trot too.
2 great catches by Matt Adams. Up against the wall. He hauls it in and he hangs on. Big City with a big grab. And Mike Foltynewicz enjoyed that. 3 up, 3 down in the Colorado 5th.
ATL is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Delta Airlines.
Time for a live look in on our Xfinity cam here at SunTrust Park. Pretty day. How about this matchup?
Yeah, beautiful day. Great game. 78 degrees at game time.
And Ozzie Albies leads off. He smacks one to straightaway center, but right at Charlie Blackmon, who barely had to move. So Albies retired. He's 0 for 2. And Dansby Swanson's coming up. This dynamic duo, as we talked about earlier in the game, went 5 for 7 yesterday. And since August 9th, Swanson and Albies have combined to hit .313 and have scored 19 runs and have knocked in 14 runs, batting 7th and 8th on the lineup card.
What a bonus out of the bottom of your lineup.
So far, John Gray has had just about everybody's number. He's only had 4 base runners. Freeman walked, Phillips singled, Suzuki has singled and been hit by a pitch. Everybody else has been retired by the Colorado Rockies right-hander, John Gray. And up and in.
Guy gets conveniently wild like when he hit Suzuki and now to Dansby, it makes you not want to dig in quite as much either.
Hey, when you brush him off like that, I would almost guarantee a slider's coming right here.
Line drive into left.
Hopefully he was thinking the same thing.
So that's the 10th hit for Dansby on the homestand. He's 10 for 25 and plate.
That one stayed in the middle of the plate, not where Wolters wanted it, and Dansby got the barrel and ripped it.
So Lane Adams is going to grab a bat and come on and hit here. Mike Foltynewicz will be taken down with a high pitch count after 5 innings. He allowed just 1 run. 4 Rockies hits. And Lane had a good cut, fouled it back. .97 pitches for Mike in those 5 innings. 0-1 for Lane Adams. Swanson at first with 1 out. And 0-2.
Folty also retired the last 7 in a row and 9 of the last 10. That's a step in the right direction.
Yes, sir.
Good outing. We talk about this a lot, Chip, that starting pitchers, and Folty was an example of it today, having to throw a lot of pitches to get outs, but they rarely have 1, 2, 3 innings, and he had 3 of them today out of his 5 innings of work.
And when he got in trouble, Joe, in that 2nd inning, critical stage in the game, got the 8 and 9 hitters to strike out. Got Parra to strike out in the 3rd, then Gonzalez to strike out to end the inning with the bases loaded, and then the rest of the way had very little trouble with the Rockies. So I couldn't agree more. Step in the right direction for him. Boat is back and got it done and kept the Braves in the game. It's only a 1-0 score.
And it's tough to navigate through this Rockies lineup. It's not one of those things where it's just automatic 7 or 8 innings.
The 1-2 pitch is cut on and missed, and Adams strikes out. That's 7 for Gray.
A little better slider than the one he threw Dansby.
And we go back to the top of the order and enter INCIARTE. Ended with a career high 162 hits. He's on pace for 207 hits, which would match Marquise Grissom, who had that total in the 1996 season for the Braves and is the last Brave with a 200-hit year.
That's what I was just about to ask.
2 outs, 1 aboard.
That is such a balk.
I'm with you.
What is going on here? Well, the umpire at first is probably not going to call it, but unless somebody brings it to his attention to look for it. Angel Hernandez.
Again to first, and again Dansby just back. And I'm sure he's asking the same question. Is that a balk move?
Well, it's not until they call it, so he's just going to keep doing it. That was very close, but he was able to keep his hand on the base, and that helped.
Well, somebody's talking to Angel in the Braves dugout. He's looked in a couple of times over there. Runner goes, pitch inside. Wolters' throw is on line and in time. What a catch and what a throw.
I might need to see a replay on that one.
Brian does. Incredible that it was this close from Wolters.
Ooh. I think he might have got in there.
Yeah, because I don't think he got him on the arm. Looked like he got him in the body.
Yeah.
Got him on the elbow.
Yeah, they're not going to change that.
So I think the Braves are going to challenge anyway. The best angle was the first base to second base look. The other angles were somewhat inconclusive. The last one we showed you, I think, is going to go against the Braves.
What's this catch and throw by Wolters? Down and in. Great footwork and release to get rid of it and be that accurate. My goodness.
Right
there.
Yep.
Like he got the jersey on the back on the elbow.
And the call is confirmed. Dansby Swanson is thrown out at second base. And the Braves are out of luck in the 5th inning. Gray and Fultonevich locked in a 1-0 game.
We head to the top of the 6th. Welcome back into our Fox Sports set here in the Battery Atlanta for this Xfinity game break. I'm Rebecca Capel. Mets in the nation's capital this afternoon, taking on the Nats. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Top of the 1st, no score, 2 on as Drupal Cabrera takes it deep to right. It is a 3-run shot and his 10th on the season. Mets lead the Nats 5-1 now in the top of the 6th. Chip, Joe, and Jeff.
Okay, Rebecca, thank you very much. Always good to see the Washington Nationals have a little bit of trouble. Mets are giving it to them today. And here in Atlanta, it's the Rockies giving the Braves a little trouble. They lead 1-0. This is the only man that scored a run today. Gerardo Parra is the left fielder and leadoff man. He also saved a run with a great catch off Matt Adams earlier. New pitcher out there. It's A.J. Minter.
Had a real nice debut the other night. An inning with nothing on the board except 2 strikeouts.
You know, watching that game break, I'm surprised that Drupal Cabrera hasn't gotten picked up by somebody.
I was at the trading deadline. The way the Mets were shuffling their deck and sending players everywhere.
Two balls and a strike. Well, before it's all said and done, the Mets might need him to play the outfield. The way everybody's going down. Cespedes DL'd. Michael Conforto dislocated his shoulder and tore the shoulder capsule swinging the bat. So he may be out for a year or longer with that injury, which is a crying shame. 2 balls and a strike to Parra.
Is that what they're saying? Really? A year?
It's, yeah, it was the capsule in the shoulder, and I think it was his left shoulder that he tore, not the bottom hand, but the top hand. And the doctors in the story that I read said that because it was the opposite shoulder, the probability of it happening again is extremely high, even with surgical repair. Line into center field by Parra. 2 strikes.
And he can hit.
Yes, he can.
You mentioned it. Lefties, righties, doesn't matter to this guy.
That was 96. Like he stayed inside it. Target away. Pitch had the middle. No stride.
There's a perfect example of what Huddy was talking about. You throw someone enough fastballs, they're going to time it up.
One other thing on Conforto, is he left-handed thrower? I can't remember.
No, I think he's right.
Is he? Let Drew look that up.
He is right.
Okay.
I'm almost sure.
Uh-oh. Mark Reynolds hits one high in the air, deep to left, and Adams can't catch that one. And the Sheriff has just hit a long home run to extend the Rockies' lead. It is 3-0, his 28th home run on the very first pitch.
Let's see if he got a fastball. He was, he's sitting over in the on-deck circle, watching. Fastball. There's that long sweeping swing.
It's right in the honey hole.
Boom. 95 turned around.
So 3 runs on 6 hits for Colorado. Braves have 3 hits in total. And Reynolds with that long ball now with 801 lifetime RBIs. Carlos Gonzalez frustrated. He skies one to left. Adams at the line makes the play.
There's another fastball for Gonzalez. Joe, we were talking about it earlier.
And late, yeah.
You look at it. He's last year he had 320 off the fastball, and this year 265. And you saw Fulte last about with the bases loaded. I think I want to say, threw him 3 straight heaters and just blew him by. I remember for the most part, all great hitters have always told me you got to be on the fastball.
Right. Makes you wonder a little bit about his vision. He's seeing the ball.
Here's Trevor Story. Story drove in the first run for the Rockies back in the second. He had one of those hated pop outs to the catcher. That was in his last time up. And a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Talked with AJ before the game. Delightful kid. He's got a chance to really help the Braves down the stretch and be a force in the bullpen next year. Lives in White House, Texas. And I mention that only because I'm sure he and anybody else from the Lone Star State, heck, anybody else in America and the world, is very well aware of what's going on in Houston, Texas right now. And all of our thoughts and prayers go to our friends and colleagues who work with the Astros and the people in that great city. It is horrific, the amount of rain that is falling, and there's probably 2 more feet of rain coming. And the question, which sounds so silly to talk about, is, but has to be done, the Astros have a series that's supposed to start on Tuesday against the Texas Rangers, and that location for the series is very much in doubt at this point in time. There's a chance they could flip-flop series with the Texas Rangers and begin a series in Dallas instead of Houston on Tuesday. But just think about
that would help,
trying to stage a game with what's going on there in 24 hours.
I think that's the only option, is to play in Texas and in Arlington, because that, I mean, it's the last thing you can think about is playing a ball game on Tuesday there, especially with the pitchers you were kind of showing us earlier.
Gretchen was just telling me that the Fox Technical Center in Houston, the Woodlands, the guys who are working there have not been home since Friday.
Wow.
Chip showed me a picture where there was a nursing home where they're sitting in wheelchairs and couches with water up to their waist.
And I hope that wasn't a hoax photo or a photoshopped photo, but even if that wasn't, there are countless stories of people now climbing onto their roofs trying to get away from the water.
Houston sits in a bowl.
Right.
It's actually below sea level. So, I mean, if it rains 1/4 of an inch, they have flooding.
Ground ball hit to the right side. That'll take care of Walters. So thank you so much to our great Fox Sports support staff at the Woodlands. Our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers with you, and we are grateful for your work under extremely tough conditions. It's 3-0 Colorado. Let's take a look at our Sherwin-Williams painting the corners feature of the game. Gray and Fultonevich, 2 fireballers, locked up, and they didn't disappoint with their combined strikeout totals.
No, they both did exactly what we expected them to do. Gray's still out there, and he's now got a 3-0 lead on our Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. A 3-run lead, a whole lot better thanks to that home run by Reynolds,
who hit it 427 feet, I believe was the tail of the tape. So the Braves have a lot of work to do now, trailing 3-0. INCIARTE, Phillips, and Freddie Freeman coming up here in the 6th inning. For whatever reason, the roles in this drama between Colorado and the Braves have flipped in recent years. For so many seasons, the Braves really had Colorado's number. They dominated the head-to-head action. It hasn't been the case since mid-June 2014. The Rockies have beaten the Braves 17 out of 22 times, and they lead today's action.
We'll see here, though. This is the 3rd time through the lineup here, so it'll be interesting to see how Gray attacks the guys right here.
Yeah, he gave up 1 hit the first time through. He gave up 2 hits the second time through, and he's going to get Ender INCIARTE to roll out, and he flings the bat away in disgust as he's the first out of the inning. Well, the hottest hitter on the club right now is Brandon Phillips. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature. A 12-game hitting streak, 4 hits away from 2,000.
and not just a hitting streak where he's getting on base and getting his singles. He's getting some damage worked in there too. A home run against his old team, the Reds, which was very gratifying.
Upstairs for Phillips, 1 ball, no strikes.
Brandon has all that bat waggle, but then he calms it down as the pitch is about to be made. Then you wave a bat around a little bit like that and see how it feels, see what it does to your hands and forearms. He's got to be so strong to do that and still be able to whip that bat through.
To the left side, ARENADO dives and can't come up with it. Another hit for Phillips. His second of the game.
That's what's impressive. Like you said, he waggles it and then just comes to a complete stop.
ARENADO didn't corral it cleanly. We were shielded. Ball just scooted out of his glove, which helped Phillips reach. So here's Freeman. He's walked and struck out.
Freddie's due, looking for his first hit of the series.
Miami's taken the lead against San Diego 5-2. Giancarlo Stanton at number 50.
Good for him.
He's going to get 61.
First National Leaguer since Prince Fielder to get to the 50 home run mark in the National League. When Prince was with Milwaukee. And missed outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
It's a shame what happened to Prince Fielder. His career cut short by a neck injury.
I think Ted Barrett's scared to call an outside strike on Freddie right here after the last time.
Might be.
They are balls, though.
As was that pitch. 3-0. Braves need base runners, and now Wolters out to try to calm Gray down. Markakis is on deck behind Freddie Freeman. 3 balls, no strikes. Shift on. And the pitch. In at the knees. Phillies lead the Cubs 5-3. That game is in the middle innings in Philadelphia. I wonder if Rhys Hoskins has hit another home.
I just checked. No, he hasn't yet. 7 in a row, man. He can't get 8.
Freddie didn't get it.
Remember, he got him down and in last time. That was 96 in.
Think he comes back foot slider here?
I would.
Yeah.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Had it covered, but fouled it back.
About made a huge mistake.
Freddie knows it too.
His mom's name on his patch. His late mom that has been such an inspiration to him.
Another payoff for Freeman, and he unloads and hits it a mile high to the right side.
You don't usually see left-handed hitters hit one there.
Another 3-2. And Freeman walks. Thank you very much. Second time he's passed Freddie. And Gray with 2 walks, a hit batsman, now has 2 on for Nick Markakis. One more note on that Cubs game. I mentioned Rhys Hoskins has not hit a homer. He did something else today. Became the first Phillies left fielder to start a triple play in 53 years. We'll try to get the particulars on that, but the Phillies turned a triple play against the Cubs today and lead them 5-3.
It'll be interesting right here. I'll tell you one good thing Nick's good at a lot of times is after a walk or a guy's trying to get ahead, he will hunt that first pitch and just smoke it.
Action begins in the Rockies bullpen. And a breaking ball.
He was hunting just to get the pitch.
Right. Gray buried that down and in. More of a curveball than a slider.
Gray's gone 6 innings or more 3 times in his last 4 starts. His season high in innings pitched is 7 innings. He's done that 2 times. He's got a 4-hit shutout working to this point.
Well, he's really just kind of rounding into form. This is only 75 innings for him. You mentioned the injury that knocked him out for quite a while.
Might be a blessing in disguise for Gray and the Rockies if he continues to pitch as well as he is right now. Reynolds homer extends the lead to 3-0. Markakis digs in and pokes one toward left center. Blackman on the run is going to get there. And Markakis is the second out here in the Braves 6th inning and is 0 for 3 on the day.
Joe, if Colorado makes that 1-game playoff, you think Bud's going to tap Gray as that guy if it's possible?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's their #1 guy. Speaking of Bud Black, one of the things, and Chip and I talked about this out at Coors Field, Jeff, is that home field advantage for either Arizona or Colorado is going to be huge. They're both so good at home.
And like I said, that's if they can set it up that way, because obviously if it comes down to that last game or two and you got to win.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That was a manager out to check to see if his right-hander was able to finish this inning.
Well, you'd like that to happen because Gray's going to lead off the 7th at the plate for Colorado. He's thrown 92 pitches. Hasn't had a lot of stress. He had 2 on, 2 outs in the 4th. He's got 2 on with 1 out here in the 6th. Perhaps his most stressful inning, and now he's got to figure out a way to take care of Kurt Suzuki. He's reached twice, a single and a hit by pitch. And in for a strike. Is he changing speeds with that slider?
I think it's his curveball.
Yeah, he's just slowing it down into a curve.
He's thrown both of those pitches real effectively for strikes today. Not to mention the 90-mile-an-hour plus fastball Gray features. No balls and a strike. Fly ball center. That'll chase Blackmon back a step or two. But the park's going to hold that. And Suzuki just missed. Atlanta had 2 on, 1 out. Can't push across the run. And we head to the 7th, down 3-zip.
Sunscreen stations in SunTrust Park to help Braves fans prevent skin cancer. So next time you come to a game, be sure to cover your bases. Visit Braves.com/ACS for more details. So we made it out to section 148 and found one of these dispensers, a very unique thing that the Braves have done. The Phillies have done it as well. They're spread out all over the ballpark. SPF 30. Chip, Joe, and Jeff, perfect for day games out here. You know, this is a subject that's very close to Freddie Freeman's heart. So the Braves have done a good job integrating it into the ballpark here. So let's put some on now. Maybe not. Oh, I got it. There we go.
Nicely done.
Yep.
And a great idea. Fans down the third baseline during the day games are the folks that are in the sunshine the most. Now the first baseline, 8 or 9 rows from the field up, are unprotected by the 90-foot canopy roof and the cantilevered stadium design. So fans on the home side and in the home dugout get a little bit of relief from Old Sol. As we head to the top of the 7th inning, 3-0 Colorado, and Gray is going to hit for himself. Why not? He's got a 4-hitter working, and he has the bottom half of the Braves batting order due in the 7th.
This tells me right here when Bud wants him to kind of become that guy right here, sending him back out in this situation.
His pitch count is manageable and extend him a little bit.
Yep.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Good cut. Everything, however, not rosy in Rockies land. They've got to figure out what's wrong with Mr. Holland. Their closer gave up 2 more runs last night. He's really been whacked around of late. 19 earned runs in his last 22 innings.
I know we were talking last night in the game, and I was talking about his velocity being down, Joe, a little bit, but the more I go back and watch a couple of those replays that, you know, the Braves hits off him, his slider's just not biting. It is just spinning up there and hanging. You know, and I've always said his slider almost looked like a splitter some of those years. They were so good.
It had a tilt to it. It wasn't flat.
No. Because he was still locating his fastball last night.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the fact that he missed all of last year, and the year before that, the 3 years before that.
In the air, shallow right field. Markakis gallops in, makes the play. Gray retired, 1 out.
The old wolf catches the ball in the gray wolf.
Like
nice.
it.
How's that?
Yeah, like it. TTT. 68 games for the Royals, 65 games, 48 games when he started breaking down a little bit, and a ton of strikeouts and sub-2 ERAs. I just think he's probably hit a little bit of a wall physically, where his stuff's just not as sharp.
And he's not a big build guy either.
I fully expect him just to snap out of it like a guy would in spring training, who has the so-called dead arm spell in spring training. Maybe he's just going through a little of that. I'm sure that's
Charlie Blackmon.
Sorry, Chip. I'm sure that's what the Rockies are hoping.
Well, if you're going to have a slump as a closer, better now than September and October.
Yes.
As Charlie digs in, he's reached base twice and takes a little low. From A.J. Minter, who's going to work a second inning. He gave up a 2-run homer to Reynolds back in the 6th. There's a pretty pitch, 2-1.
I don't remember what year it was that the Cardinals won the World Championship, but Jason Isringhausen suffered an injury.
06.
Their closer, and Adam Wainwright stepped in
06
as a rookie and was their closer.
Blackmon, a line drive to right field, and he busts down the line. Charlie Blackmon, 2 more hits. 177 base hits on the year for the Rockies leadoff man.
What a fun year.
You think, coming to the park knowing you're going to get 2 hits?
Every day.
So Minter will be taken down. He struck out a batter, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs so far. And the Braves will go deeper into their bullpen with LeMahieu and Arenado coming up. We're in the 7th. Braves can't give the Rockies any more. They already lead 3-zip. But the Rocky fans that are at the ballpark know all about climbing the big mountain out in the kid zone here. As we take a peek at today's Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. We talked about our MVP candidates. Well, 2 of them are wearing Rockies colors. Blackman's at first, Arenado is lurking, and DJ LeMahieu is going to come up against former Rocky Jason Mott. Stanton added to his home run total with his 50th, and the Marlins have beaten San Diego today. Miami is streaking all of a sudden, 3 games over 500. They started play 4.5 back in the National League wild card. They've got to catch Milwaukee, which plays in Los Angeles later on.
I'll tell you, Joe, after looking at that stuff, Nolan Arenado is still my MVP, what we talked about earlier, but if somehow the Marlins make the playoffs, I'm going to find it hard not to vote for Stan.
If they get in the postseason, you're exactly right. The thing that's going to break the Marlins' hearts is they got to play the Braves the last 4 games. Spoiler alert.
Yep. I think the Braves play the Marlins a lot.
2 4-game series, right?
7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th here in Atlanta, and then the final 4 down in Miami. Wild card standings. The Brewers and Dodgers tee up their game a little bit later on.
Braves are 7-4 against Miami on the year.
Right there, 2 balls and a strike to LeMahieu. I really wish the Braves would put a left-handed hitter shift on against this guy.
I agree.
Runner goes. Pitch inside. The throw tails and sails into center field. Blackman is going to break for third. The throw there is going to be late. Oh, just in ahead of the throw from INCIARTE, who put it right on the money.
Ender was there to back up. Kirk came out throwing, but that one got away from him, and unfortunately Blackman saw it all the way. Boy, what a good throw.
I don't know if they teach that or that's just instincts, but you saw Blackman look right in the outfield right away. Well, that's pretty heads up right there.
If you're sliding in there and you see the second baseman or whoever's covering jumping over you, you might have a pretty good indication that it was wide.
Maybe I was always just happy to get to second.
Maybe.
So the infield comes in for the Braves. Full count for LeMahieu. 1 out. Rockies lead is 3 runs. And Mott loses LeMahieu.
It's almost like
1 out.
It's almost like Charlie Blackman heard us talking about Nolan Arenado and said, "Okay, you think he should be MVP? Let me show you what I got."
That was the first error the Braves have committed since the first game of the Seattle series.
Rockies got Arenado in the 2009 draft. He was a 2nd round pick. Talk about it all the time, the inexact nature of scouting. Can't really tell what a player is going to turn into. I guarantee you there are 29 other teams that wish they had another crack at Nolan Arenado in 2009.
But he wasn't a third baseman. He was a catcher.
Right.
And maybe a catcher outfielder.
Is he a high school or college guy?
High school.
High school guy.
Sharply hit to short. Can the Braves turn it? There's 1. There's 2. And Arenado has not enjoyed his trip to SunTrust Park. He's doubled up in the 7th inning. That ends the Rockies' threat. And we head to the stretch inning. It's 3-0 Colorado. Braves trying to get out of town with a homestand-ending victory and a series win with the Rockies before we head to Philadelphia for 3 and then to Wrigley Field for a 4-game series with the Chicago Cubs. On this beautiful afternoon for baseball, the Braves have jumped over the 2 million mark in attendance. They're down 3 runs as Timothy Miller takes to the center of the diamond, where he will perform another stirring rendition of God Bless America at SunTrust Park.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
John Gray's back out there. He's been brilliant. He's our SunTrust confidence play of the game.
Came in with good numbers against the Braves, and he is adding to it. Struck out an ender to start the ball game, and we've seen a few more of those since then. He struck out 7 on the day. The only 2 walks were both to Freddie Freeman in the 1st and the 6th inning. He's had all his pitches working. There's the line. And what's that streak he's got going against the Braves?
Well, he's 2-0 in 3 starts. He's now thrown 26 innings of 3-run ball, with 29 strikeouts and only 20 hits. That will work.
And as Drew reminded us, I'm 3 strikeouts of that, not 2.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I was thinking about when he was in the stretch last inning about how advantageous this windup is, if you want to call it that, when you're working out of the stretch. It's virtually the same thing. Very consistent.
I wonder about the energy that's saved as well, especially when the weather's real hot and muggy. We've been blessed with fantastic weather all weekend long, heck, all homestand long here at SunTrust. Swing and a miss by Adams, 2-2. Bottom part of the order, Gray approaching 100 pitches. He's had very little stress. And a base hit by Adams the other way, and look at Gray. He can't believe it. He just stared in at Tony Wolters in disbelief that Adams took that ball the other way, where the door was wide open for a base hit.
I don't think it was a strike.
No.
Wasn't.
But that's nice to get rewarded because Matt's hit the ball hard all 3 times today now.
And I can understand how a pitcher can get frustrated when you try to throw a backdoor breaking ball and it's not even close to the plate and you still give up a hit.
So is that going to be the end of the line for Gray? We're about to find out. That is an affirmative. 6+ innings for Mr. Gray, who gave up 5 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 7. He was brilliant. Braves are in the Rockies bullpen late. We'll see what happens next.
The Georgia Lottery.
Welcome back, Braves fans. Get a rare behind-the-scenes look into an Atlanta Braves television production with the new Behind the Broadcast ticket package. This unique opportunity will get you into Q&A with Fox Sports South Chip Carey and Joe Simpson, a ticket to the September 16th game, and a tour of SunTrust Park with a commemorative media pass. Visit Braves.com, Behind the Broadcast, to get the details.
That's when the Mets are here.
Yeah, that'll be a fun day.
I actually am also here.
Really?
I am, the 15th to the 17th.
Well, good. Maybe you can come join us for the seminar.
You know what? I will. What time of day is it going to be?
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, maybe be here for the tour.
Okay, that sounds good.
There might be free food.
And I told you need to go on because with these two guys, there's definitely going to be food involved.
So Pat Neshek will be the new Colorado pitcher. Neshek pitched last night and got the win.
1-2-3 inning.
You got Albee, Swanson, and the pitcher's spot. Adams at first base. The second time the Braves have had a leadoff man on in today's game. Boy, Gray was awfully good, wasn't he? 5-hit shutout over 6+. And Neshek with a grunt as he turned that ball loose, and Ozzie was late, 0-2.
from that stretch position. He is really quick to the plate. Already seen Wolters and how he can get rid of the ball. Well, Neshek gets rid of it quickly too. Look at this setup. Okay.
Line out of play. We'll do it again.
Be nice to get one of these next two on. See Kemp getting up over there in the hole.
Yeah.
Chance, give him a chance to tie one up or at least gap one.
More than I've ever seen anyone take a stretch with the glove fully extended and then take the ball to it.
He hit that ball before it hit him.
I agree with that.
The Phillies are next on the schedule for the Braves. They're beating the Cubs 5-3 today. Braves will face Nola, Leiter, and Eichhoff in the 3-game series at Citizens Bank. A line drive into center. Blackman's going to play it safely on a hop. The throw to second is a little late. Adams was nearly in no man's land, but he got there ahead of the throw. Otherwise, he'd have been forced out by Charlie Blackman. But the Braves have a rally now. 2 on, nobody out.
Look how still Ozzie is on this. Once he put his foot down, his head is real still, and he just used his hands to go to the ball.
Look at that. Is a short swing, Joe. He just drops the bat head right on the ball.
Beautiful. He's really impressing.
So he has an 8-game hitting streak. And Dansby Swanson, the batter. He had a single last time up. First pitch swing and popped up. Can of corn for Charlie Blackman. No advance. And there's the first out in the inning. Matt Kemp has grabbed a bat. He'll come on and hit. Close the book on Jason Mott. He walked a batter, got a double play, and zeros across in his 2/3 of an inning. Matt went 1 for 4 last night. He went 3 for 5 in game 1, including a home run.
As a pinch hitter on the year.
A long one would tie it up, but the wind blowing in as Neshek missed badly outside. Ball 1. Even count.
Yeah, I got to imagine for Snit, it's nice, especially after earlier this year when you got a guy like Adams coming off the bench, or if Adams does play and spells Kemp, you got a guy like Kemp coming off the bench.
Nice luxury.
Yep.
Broken bat, shot towards Story at short. Second one on to first, a double play, and that retires the side. Braves are out of luck in the 7th inning. We go to the 8th, 3-0 Colorado, and we also go to Rebecca Capel with today's big story.
All right, thank you. City swing beginning in Philly. Phillies are bottom feeders this season, and yet they've been a real problem for the Braves. These teams have faced each other 4 times already this year. Braves have been swept in 3 of those series. The other 4-game set was a split. After that, it's on to Chicago to face the world champion Cubs, who are sitting atop the NL Central. For the first time these teams met this season, the Braves got swept here at SunTrust Park, and the Cubs have stepped on the gas pedal since then. So we've got 3 games coming up in Philly, followed by a 4-game set at Wrigley Field. Lucas Sims will face Aaron Nola in game 1 tomorrow night. Welcome back into our Fox Sports set here in the Battery, Atlanta. Rebecca Capel alongside Brian Jordan. Now, Braves, though, with a chance for some redemption on this road trip.
Wow, they need it badly after you're reading off the last time they played each other. I mean, you get swept by the Cubs, they get swept by the Phillies. Of course, Phillies have been the nemesis of the Braves all season long, just not getting it done against those guys. That's my biggest fear on this road trip is whenever they play the Phillies and the Cubs starting to play some good baseball. The pitching is coming together. That offense has woken up. I mean, these guys are really swinging a hot bat, playing together. They're gelling now, which they didn't do early in the season. So it's going to be a tough road trip for the Braves.
Tough road trip, but again, a chance to redeem themselves.
Yes, it is.
That's what we're saying here. All right, Chip, Joe, and Jeff, back to you.
Okay, Rebecca, thank you very much. And guys, in that 4-game sweep at the hands of the Phillies, there were 4 players in particular who had a monster series against Atlanta. Herrera, Hernandez, Galvis, and Altair had 24 hits, 11 RBIs, and 14 runs. Herrera's got a hamstring problem. Don't know if we'll see him. But if he can't play, the Braves will get their first look at Rhys Hoskins, who's already hit 10 home runs in his first 21 games.
You know what? I was just looking at his numbers. He's also walked 11 times.
Really?
Yeah. So his slugging and on-base percentage are through the roof. He's slugging over 800 with those 10 homers. He's got another double to go with that. It'll be fun to see what he can do. And hopefully the Braves can figure out a way to get this season series turned around a little bit.
Yeah, Atlanta 2-11 against Philadelphia so far this year. As Rebecca said, unbelievably, 3 sweeps in those 4 series. So the Braves have some revenge owed the Phillies. But still unfinished business here as we head to the 8th inning. Sam Freeman's on to pitch. He's got Parra, Reynolds, and Gonzalez again. Gray's 6 innings of shutout ball through 99 pitches. 26 career innings against the Braves, 3 earned runs. And Sam Freeman delivers a strike. Boy, has he been good. What a find for the Braves bullpen.
Definitely a keeper.
Not that you ever want to go through a rebuild like we've had to do here in Atlanta, but sometimes the good thing with it is you end up getting guys like this that get an opportunity and are able to stick and help your club pass this year.
He didn't make the club out of spring training.
No.
Parra lifts one to the left side. Dansby gives chase, but won't have a play. To Parra, 2 balls, 2 strikes. While the Braves hit the road, as Rebecca said, for a 7-game trip, the Rockies head back home. They have a chance to pad their playoff credentials. They've got a 3-game series coming up with the Tigers, a huge series next weekend with Arizona, and then they start the Labor Day affair with the San Francisco Giants in Colorado for 3 games.
And all that's at home, huh?
Yep. Then they've got a tough road trip at LA, at Arizona. 2-city trip, 2 4-game series. They finished the season at home with the Marlins. Boy, those could be huge games.
That's crazy.
And the Dodgers are the final 3. The final week for the Rockies at Coors Field. And Parra, not the only bad swing he's taken in this series. It starts the 8th inning, a strikeout by Sam Freeman.
Let me go back to that. Let me ask you a question as we watch this pitch from Sam. Beauty. You say they finish up at home with whom? The Marlins?
The Marlins and then the Dodgers.
So the Marlins are going to be playing at Colorado and have to fly to Miami and play Atlanta.
Correct.
Those last 3.
The final 4 games.
Final 4 games.
Yep.
That's tough on them.
Yep. Here's Reynolds.
Spoiler alert.
He takes a strike. Two homers in the series for Reynolds. He didn't get that one. It's 0-2. Swing and a miss. Reynolds didn't get it. Two out.
That's a great changeup right there.
So here's Cargo. He's 0 for 2 and 1 for 6 in the series.
51 strikeouts now for Sam in 47 2/3 innings.
You know what I'd like to see if the game was tied about 3-3 right now with a guy on or two, and if Bud would have gone to the bench here with Gonzalez.
Might have, and you know that he probably is just waiting for that day for Cargo to break out, get going.
Yep.
Bouncing ball hit toward first. Freeman behind the bag has it. He'll step on the pillow, and that retires Colorado in the 8th inning. Braves have a 3-5 homestand. They need a win today to win the series and head to Philadelphia with a 4-5 mark. Top of the order's coming up. Right guys, we hope at the right time. We'll find out after the break. With you wherever you go. That's presented by Honda Generators. With Kelsey Wingert, Joe Simpson, Jeff Rancourt, Chip Carey, and our great Fox Sports crew with you as we head to the 8th inning. It's gotten late. Atlanta down 3, and they'll face their former teammate Mike Dunn at the top of the Braves order coming up.
Braves have certainly seen a lot of him from his days with the Marlins. They're familiar with him. They know it's fastball, slider. Left-hander's going to see a lot of sliders. A lot of strikeouts for him this year too in 43 1/3 innings.
Ball, no strikes, and over but low. Ball 2. Dunn's hit a real hot patch. He's gone scoreless 19 of his last 21 outings, covering 17 innings. And he's a perfect 3-0 in August with 11 outings.
Braves time. Yep. When they do their best work. Top of the order up there. Get Ender on and get something going.
Braves have scored 220 runs in the 7th inning or later this year. Fly ball lifted toward Parra in left. And he's there to make the play for the first out. Ender 0 for 4. Brandon Phillips, 2 hits and 3 tries. Phillies have extended their lead over the Cubs to 6-3. Rhys Hoskins has hit another home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. He also started a triple play from the outfield.
Well, they say he's a 9-tool player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's 8 home runs in a row. Am I right?
8 games in a row.
Games in a row.
Yeah, if that's accurate.
And that ties the record.
That would tie the record. Mattingly, Wong, and Ken Griffey Jr.
But we got to tell Lucas not to beat him up anything tomorrow night. That's crazy.
Phillips off stride, popped it up. And Reynolds at first makes the play. And there's the second out.
Did you see the ball he hit last night, Joe? It's off Hendricks, and it literally was a changeup that about hit the ground. And I know, you know, Citizens Bank's a small park, but it went 15, 20 rows to left center.
No kidding. I'm curious, you know, how if you've got a hitting streak and you walk 4 times, the streak doesn't go away. It continues till your next game. I wonder if that would also apply if he were to walk 4 times tomorrow.
I would say it has to.
That streak would carry over.
If a hitting streak would carry over, I would have to think that would.
I would think so too. But I'm sure Buster Olney would come out and say, no, we need to change the rules.
Yeah, of course.
1 ball on those strikes.
I mean, when it rains, we need bases that, you know, can't slip on. How about that article?
Well, he's trying to make it a kinder, gentler game. Can't take anybody out at second. Can't run into the catcher. And we certainly don't want any fighting in baseball.
So I guess he's not a hockey fan.
Guess not.
Three balls, no strikes. Markakis to follow Freeman. Freddie's walked twice, struck out once. And he takes another free pass. This one with 2 outs.
I'll tell you, Joe, all the things that have bugged me, the new rules, replay, different things, the home plate is the one that just I cannot stand. There's way too much gray area in that one for me.
And talk to the catchers. Catchers don't know where to go.
No, that's my point. And guys don't know where to slide when you're coming in.
I think that's why there have been so many head-first slides at home plate that have resulted in injuries. Guys didn't slide head-first before.
No, they went feet first or they ran you over.
Well, we need to ban that too. Head first slide. As Markakis digs in. We should ban pitching because guys get hit all the time. You can break a hand or a finger, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sport. People are going to get injured.
You understand the slippery slope that we're obviously poking fun at. Nothing in 1. As someone said of this sport years ago, and I've never forgotten the quote, it's a tough game played by tough men, and sometimes tough luck happens.
Can't legislate all of that out of the game and have it remain the same.
Correct. One ball, 1 strike.
Good swing.
Although BMAC still gives me a bunch of crap for putting him on the DL in 2007 with my throw to home plate, and it was a little bit high, and Eric Burns ran him over.
Right.
I told him, get in a better position.
Don't jump.
That conversation probably didn't go over too well, did it?
No, it didn't quite go like that.
With Beeman, yeah, I can only imagine. Ground ball to first. Reynolds is right there. He makes the play, and Dunn gets the Braves in the 8th inning. Off we go to the 9th. Colorado is shutting us out in Game 3 of the series. South brought to you by Ford. It kicks off a brand new season as Mark Richt's Miami Hurricanes battle Bethune-Cookman. Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We head to the 9th inning. It's 3-0 Colorado in front. Sam Freeman's out for another innings worth of work. Jason Stark posted something online just a moment ago about Rhys Hoskins, and I'm going to have Drew Jenkins, our upstairs statistician, try to confirm this for us. Rhys Hoskins has hit a home run on each of the last 8 days the Phillies have played. There's an off day and a double header in that stretch. So my question is it 8 games in a row with a homer? Was there a multi-game homer involved in that? I'm not sure we've gotten the Dale Long, Don Mattingly, Ken Griffey thing absolutely right. So I just want to nail that down so that if that's the case, we have the story right.
And if it was a doubleheader, he would have had to have hit one in each
Both games, yeah.
Right. So Trevor Story with a base hit. That one slowly hit toward the right field corner, and he'll gallop into second on the first pitch. Story has bookend doubles today for Colorado.
This guy can run too.
So I just got confirmation. He did not hit one in the second game of the doubleheader.
So
it's days, not games.
Days, not games. Okay.
Okay. And did he play in the second game of the doubleheader? He did. Okay.
So what's his streak?
Yes, because if he didn't, Pete would have got fired.
So is there so is there a current streak alive for Story? When was the doubleheader? How many days ago was that?
I'm sure he's getting, yeah, not 8.
So Tony Wolters, the batter, he's 0 for 3. And an interesting graphic comparing the catchers in today's game. We talked a lot about how red hot Kurt Suzuki has been for the Braves of late. And there's an interesting number that we'll show you here in a second. Kurt Suzuki coming into action today and homered in his last 3 games. The Rockies have 3 homers in total for the year this season. You would think Jonathan McCoy will be able to help that here with the final 5 weeks of the regular season. Bud Black figures he's got enough offense, even without a whole lot of pop from behind the plate. Wolters today has made big contributions with his arm. He's thrown out a couple of would-be Braves base stealers. This guy was a former Cleveland Indians farmhand before knee problems made him expendable, and the Rockies got him healthy and got him to the show. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wolters is out of Vista, California. He was on his way to the University of San Diego before he signed with Cleveland after the 2010 draft.
Well, he can put a dent in your running game. We've seen that today.
That ball bunted foul. And the count to Wolters 2-2.
Hoskins 5 home runs.
So he's homered in 5 consecutive games, counting today.
Which is still good.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
The Braves will try to put a stop to that tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Sims versus Nola. Braves live at 6:30. First pitch 7:10 from Citizens Bank. What a play by Freeman to hold the runner at second and rob Wolters. Great play.
What reactions. Wow, nice play. Didn't rush his throw either.
So Pat Valleca's going to grab a bat to come on and hit in the 9th inning. And that's going to be all for Sam Freeman. An inning and a third, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, no walks, and the man at first is his responsibility.
Local Hyundai dealers.
Beautiful car and a beautiful day as we continue in the 9th inning. It's 3-0 Colorado. And Brian Snitker will bring on Jim Johnson. You know all about Jim's difficulties over an extended stretch of time. He's got Valleca, then the top of the order coming up. And he delivers a strike.
Brian Snitker's been talking about trying to get spots for Jim where he can get things ironed out, but the primary culprit has been he's just not getting any sink on his sinker. There's a good one though.
Yep.
Oh man,
mercy. That was a turbo sink.
That might be the best one I've seen all year from anybody.
Wow.
I think let's just throw that one again.
2 quick strikes for Valleca. And on a play foul.
The thing about a struggle for a veteran player like this is that he's not going to get it ironed out in the bullpen.
Nope.
He's got to come into games.
It's like a hitter when you're struggling. You can take all the BP you want, but when you step in that box.
Brian Snitker's tried real hard to find the right spots for him.
In the air to center. Right at Ender. He's got it. Well, look.
And Brian was kind of backed into a corner the other day because he didn't have all of his weapons available to him in the bullpen, so he had to use Jim.
And it made sense. I mean, look, you're right. That's the part of the game that I think fans don't understand sometimes. You had Vizcaino ready to close. Mott was already in the game. Ramirez wasn't available. Freeman wasn't available. A.J. Minter had not yet pitched in a major league game. You want to bring him in a 1-run ball game in your first chance?
No.
That's not ideal. You had Matt Whistler as an option, but Matt's kind of a long guy. And frankly, Matt had not been pitching all that well at the major league level. So Brian Snitker, understandably, went with a veteran guy in a 1-run game, trying to get the game to Vizcaino in the 9th. A logical decision that didn't work.
Didn't work.
And so the Braves will walk Blackman here.
Yeah, you're not going to
2
bring in a
outs.
guy that's never pitched before in the big leagues in that situation.
Say save the game in the
get it.
8th, right?
No doubt. You bring in a guy that's been there before, has got the job done.
But you hope that Jim can find something here in the last 6 weeks of the season. As another sinker beaten into the ground. Dansby charges. It's off his glove. And all hands are going to be safe. Sometimes pitching has bad luck involved. And there was some there for Johnson. He got the ground ball he wanted. Off the bat of LeMahieu. But Dansby couldn't field it cleanly, and the bases are loaded.
Another excellent sinker. Near the edge of the grass again.
So a rare error for Dansby Swanson since his return. And now Johnson has to face Arenado, who's 0 for 4.
It's a tough error.
The troubles for Jim truly haven't been the last 4 outings. Over his last 30 games, he's given up 23 earned runs. That's since the beginning of June.
It's big right here. Get a chance to keep it to 3-0 and give yourself a chance.
Exactly right. 1 ball, 1 strike for Arenado. Bouncing ball towards short. Dansby to his right, sets his feet and fires to second, and Jim Johnson gets out of the 9th inning. That is an encouraging development as the Braves get set to hit the road and get set for the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-0 Rockies.
Rockies 3-0. Welcome back into our set here in the Battery Atlanta. Rebecca Capel alongside Brian Jordan. We hope that you stick around following this game because we're going to have reaction from the clubhouse. We will talk about the Braves' upcoming road trip, and of course, we've got to talk about today's pitching matchup. It was a doozy, Brian.
It was great to see Fulte really bounce back after his last 2 starts. He looked really good today. I love the way Snicker took him out after 5, giving him that confidence for his next start.
All right, we'll have all that and more on Braves Live following the game. We hope to see you then, guys.
Okay, Rebecca and BJ, we'll see you in just a minute. Jake McGee is on to try to close it out for Colorado. McGee picked up the save here last night when Mr. Holland had his troubles in the 9th inning. Perhaps similar trouble is afoot for the Braves with Suzuki, Adams, and Albies coming up.
He didn't have to work very hard for that save either. He got a quick double play ball, game over.
Kurt Suzuki has singled. He's been hit by a pitch and he's flied out.
McGee had a 19 save season in 2014 for Tampa Bay. What a year. 5-2 with a 1.89 ERA.
And again, what a luxury for Colorado to have somebody like McGee. You face a left-handed predominant hitting lineup, and you got to save the game in the 8th of the 9th. He could probably go Holland in the 8th, this guy in the 9th if it's all lefties late. As that one's popped up into right field, and Carlos Gonzalez, Suzuki's retired, and there's the first out.
He had 15 saves last year for Colorado. High 90s fastball, occasional slider change.
Yeah, he's settled down now more into kind of the mid-90s, but 2-3 years ago, I remember facing him in Tampa a couple times. I mean, he's sat 98, which from the left side, you just don't see that.
So 1 away from Matt Adams. And the Braves left fielder takes ball 1. Colorado Rockies are gunning for their 2nd road shutout this year. The Braves have been blanked at home 4 times. Fly ball center. Blackman on the run. Still going, but the wind's going to knock that to his glove on the warning track. Adams has hit the ball to left field 3 times in 4 trips. And he's 1 for 4.
He's hit the ball hard 4 times, all 4 times today.
That's impressive. Not playing for 3-4 days, coming off like that, and just squaring them up.
So the last hope for Atlanta is Ozzie Albies. He'll turn around right-handed. He's 1 for 3. He'll take an 8-game hit streak into Philly tomorrow, and he skipped the rope with ball 1. Phillies finished off the Cubs today 6-3. Rhys Hoskins hit a homer. The Phillies turned a triple play in that game. Sims and Nola, the starters in game 1 tomorrow night.
Nola's been pitching well too.
He's been outstanding.
Go up there and catch their ace the first game.
One ball, 1 strike from McGee. And Ozzie takes ball 2. Milwaukee leads the Dodgers early 1-0 in the 2nd. Tampa Bay 2-1 over the Cardinals. Mets 6, Washington 5 in game 1 of a day-night doubleheader. The second game is the Sunday night game tonight. Pirates beat the Reds 5-2. That's out of play. Big story. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 50th home run for Miami. Astros are winning today 4-0 against the Angels. How they're even able to focus and play is simply amazing. All that's going on in their hometown. And word has come that the Astros and Texas Rangers, after they finish their games, are going to fly to Dallas and await word from Major League Baseball as to what to do about their scheduled series, which was to open Tuesday night at Minute Maid Park. That ain't going to happen.
Nor should it.
Right. 3-2. Line to center. Blackman on the run. Still going back. He's got room, and that's your ball game. The Rockies shut out Atlanta on 6 hits today. They win the series, and they head home to start a long 9-game homestand with their 71st win. Fellas, this one started and ended with John Gray and Mark Reynolds, who had another home run in this series.
Yeah, and a positive note for John Gray. Since middle of August last year, he was only 1-7 with a 6.5 ERA on the road, and today he throws a real strong 6+ shutout innings.
And if you're looking for silver linings, Mike Fultonevich, 5 innings of 1-run ball after a run of 5 games where he really got hit hard. But 3 runs enough for the Rockies today. That's your final score. Colorado takes the series. Jeff, enjoyed being with you. When do we see you again?
The 15th through the 17th with the Mets. And the 16th, maybe, hopefully I'm giving a tour with you guys.
Sure. Sounds great. You know? So fans, you won't want to miss that. Hope you'll join Joe, Jeff, and me for that broadcast seminar. It will be epic. Plenty to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. That's coming up next from SunTrust Park. For my partners, I'm Chip Carey. Stay tuned. The postgame show is coming right up.